Let's kick shell!
Bang, 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 bang.
Pizza time!
Prepare to die.
Terminate the turtle.
Pizza time! Alley Cat Blue!
Bang, 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 ba-dang, ba-dang, bang, ba-dang, ba-dang. Alright. Okay.
Cool off, sucker!
Let's see if we can get a decent first attempt here. Because normally my first attempt tends to go awry as I'm warming up. Bang, 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 bang. Wow, they all lined up perfectly.
Slime balls.
That was a very, very good end sequence. A little too early on that jump there.
Pizza time. Sewer surface.
My toes, my toes.
That didn't move down far enough. I'm fine as long as they don't deny me the pizza.
Pizza time.
A little early on that.
My toes, my toes.
Pizza time.
Okay, epilepsy warning, lots of flashing. Don't look if you're sensitive.
I'm banishing you to a time warp from which you will never return.
Prehistoric.
Alright, safe to look. That was supposed to be a reverse shoulder. Not a good start to this stage. Hey, what's up, Cube Guru? How you doing? Yeah, I've been streaming this game a little bit more lately. Well, when I can. I haven't really had too many opportunities because I've been busy with a lot of other stuff, but I did stream, what, like last week? I'm actually working on some stuff for this game. You know, besides just the usual, you know, 1cc attempts. Okay, didn't get punished for that. Primary game I'm playing, or am I still active with Sonic or Melee? This is basically my primary game these days. I mean, there's an argument to be made that it's been my primary game since like 2008. But I don't know if I would go that far, but that is basically how long I've been playing this game, like for the purposes of doing 1cc's anyway. As basically when I started learning how to try and do 1cc's for the game. It started back in 2008. Of course, it took me a while before I actually got my first one. But yeah, this has been my main focus in terms of streaming recently. I did stream some other stuff too. Like I streamed Sonic Racing Cross Worlds not too long ago, but that was just kind of like a fun romp. Okay. So next loop is going to be the bomb drop. I also found this game in an arcade. Not the original, unfortunately. I didn't find the actual hardware. It was a MAME cabinet, but it was still fun to play at the arcade. I'm gonna go back at some point because I want to try and see if I can 1cc it with those controls. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, the controls are not... It's not easy to get a 1cc with the arcade... the type of controls that are at the arcade because of... so for one thing, they use American style bat tops for the sticks, which it's kind of not that easy to grip those. Like, I mean, you can grip them, but like they have some issues. So like, for example, they have this issue called snapback, which is where if you hold the direction, right, any direction, let's say you're holding left, and you release the stick to neutral, if you release it quickly to neutral, sometimes it will pass by neutral and it'll input the opposite direction. which results in like unwanted errors, unwanted execution. And that happened to me, that was happening to me quite a few times, and I wound up getting punished for it.
Skull and
Another problem is that these sticks have a high resistance. So it actually requires a lot of force for you to even push a direction and maintain it. So it was actually wearing on my wrist for a while, like after a while. Yeah, that part sucked. And also, it's just kind of difficult because of the types of buttons they use. They don't use like Japanese Sanwa style buttons. So it was actually kind of difficult to hit the two buttons at the same time, which is a requirement for this game. Because any two button move in this game requires that you hit the buttons on the same frame. And it's difficult to do that with American style arcade buttons.
forgot the sun cream.
Motherfucker, I thought that guy was dead. Fortunately, I didn't get hit with the jump kick, only the fire. So yeah, playing this game with like a Japanese style arcade stick or with a hitbox, which is what I'm using, it's just much better in terms of like the controls compared to the like American arcade. That kind of trapped me. I was trying to move up to beat the other guy, but like the other one was there coming back. Really bad start to this level. So yeah, I don't think this is gonna... This attempt might be dead in the water. Similar controller issues like Melee. Yeah, some console controllers also have the snapback issue. So like there are certain GameCube controllers that have that, which is one of the reasons I play Melee with a Smashbox and not a GameCube controller. That's one of many reasons. Also, Nintendo Switch like Joy-Cons have snapback as well. So things like that, it just kind of makes the game more difficult to play. This attempt is dead in the water. That was a preemptive strike, so my positioning was not off. He just did a strike preemptively, and it just happened to hit. But I still want to go back to the arcade and see if I can't. I'm gonna ask them. I want to ask them if it's okay for me to bring my tripod, because I want to see if I can record it and make like a YouTube video. Hopefully, if I get like a 1cc in the arcade, I can put it on YouTube. Even if it's a MAME cabinet, but MAME emulates this game very well, so the only issues this game really has on MAME are like minor graphical things. The actual gameplay itself is identical to arcade. So it's still worth giving it a shot. I went down too much. I was trying to avoid the fire arrow and I went down too much. Alright. Let's go ahead and start this over. In real life 1cc. Yeah, I mean obviously like when I when I started learning how to do 1cc's for this game, it wasn't in arcade because arcade, like I couldn't find the game anymore. Right? It wasn't like available. It's because it's like an old game that nobody cares about, like that kind of thing.
Let's kick shell!
So being able to, even if it's a MAME cabinet, being able to get a 1cc in an actual arcade with, like the actual cabinet itself looks legit. Like they put a lot of effort into making sure they got all the artwork and everything. Like the cabinet, it looks like the original style. Even like the placement of the buttons for each turtle is like, you know, there's like angled buttons because of how they expect 4 people to be standing next to each other, so the buttons are angled accordingly. And it's kind of weird because like Leonardo's player 1, so his buttons are all the way on the left side, which means that his buttons are angled, assuming that the player is going to be standing on the left side of the cabinet, which I wasn't doing because I was playing by myself. But it does make it so that the buttons, you have to hit them at this like strange angle, which is how it is in the original. Like the original machine was like that, so they definitely recreated that accurately. But it does take a little bit of adjustment. It's not too bad to get used to it. I wound up having to use my thumb for the bottom button. I was using my thumb for the bottom button. It's kind of a weird after playing on arcade stick at home and hitbox for so long, where I'm using like my index and middle finger, having to switch to like my thumb to try and get like my 2 button presses and all that, and it's a bit strange, but that part wasn't the hard part. Like that was actually pretty easy for me to play like that. The hard part was just hitting the 2 buttons on the same frame. So like this, for example, doing this up kick, I have to hit the 2 buttons on the same frame, and it's just significantly easier to do that with Japanese buttons compared to American style buttons. And there's all kinds of moves in this game, like reverse shoulder and the lunge kick and stuff like that, that all depend on hitting your 2 buttons at the same time.
Alley Cat Blue.
Oh yeah, X-Men. X-Men is definitely notorious. Especially you got that 6-player X-Men cabinet. X-Men was notorious for that. See, like an issue here is like I would try to like move here in front of them, release to neutral, and then do my up kick, right? Like, come down, release to neutral, do my up kick. But doing that in arcade is hard because of the snapback. So sometimes I would move down, and I would try to release to neutral, do the up kick, and I would get accidentally either a special or a reverse shoulder because the game... not a special. It would be a reverse shoulder because it would go in the opposite direction because of the snapback.
Pizza time.
See, I have a very methodical way of pressing the buttons on my hitbox that make it significantly easier for me to get the 2-button press consistently. But in arcade, it's kind of difficult to do that with those kinds of buttons. But who knows? Maybe if I go back and I play it a few times more, maybe I'll get used to it. But I would definitely like to get a video of that. Put it on my YouTube. Because I got a whole playlist of 1cc's for this game. But every single one of those was done on MAME. And I guess Fightcade too. I don't know if, actually, I don't think I put any videos up regarding Fightcade 1cc's. I have done 1cc's on Fightcade when playing 2-player. But my playlist is mostly MAME stuff. So hopefully, what I would like to do, besides getting the video of like a 1cc at arcade, this is later down the line because it's money I don't have right now. But I would like to get a Mister, because they developed the Turtles in Time core for Mister. That I would like. I would really like to play this game on a Mister. And of course, you got your controller connection, so I should be able to hook up my hitbox just fine and play it that way. Ah, pizza.
Pizza time.
Okay. I don't want them to deny me that. Wrong move, but I managed to get away. See, doing this where I would do like a strike, reverse shoulder, that was really difficult to do in arcade. And I wound up dying repeatedly on this stage in the arcade because I was trying to do that and it just wasn't coming out consistently because I was getting snapback and just not hitting my two buttons on the same frame. It was really difficult. Like, I can't stress enough how having a really, really good controller that allows for a lot of precision helps massively with this game. Controllers that do not offer a lot of precision are just terrible for this game.
Pizza time.
Alright. Lots of flashing coming up at the end of this, so epilepsy warning if you're sensitive to flashing. Right now. How much longer? Let's see, what time is it? I'll be streaming for like another hour and a half, roughly. Something like that. When am I planning to stream next? It's hard to say. I tried to have a schedule before, but because of everything I got going on, I have too much going on that it makes it kind of difficult. It also depends on if I'm doing overtime at work. Because if I'm not doing overtime, then I'll probably be streaming on Thursday, since that's one of my days off. But I've been doing a lot of overtime lately, and that would be on my day off on Thursday, because I really need extra money. So if I do overtime, then I won't stream on Thursday. If I don't have overtime, then I'll probably stream on Thursday. What's up, Vane? Thanks for the good luck. Okay. Space them out. The important thing you gotta do, like, if you're gonna use a strike, like, I used to use significantly fewer strikes because of the chance of accidentally getting, or not accidentally, but randomly getting throws or slams, which, you know, if you have enemy like that, I just randomly get a throw, right? If there are enemies clustered together and you throw one enemy, the other enemies behind it or like overlapping could punish you for it. So I used to just minimize my use of strikes because that would happen. And also the fact that strikes, unless you're using Raphael, who's the exception to this, the 3 of the turtles have this random sidekick that has really horrible range. And it's very easy for enemies to punish it. But ever since I learned some tricks, strikes became a lot more viable. So one of them is whiff cancel. If I do a strike and I hold up or down, and the move whiffs, it doesn't connect, I can cancel the recovery of the move early, which makes it safer to use strikes. And like if I don't hit an enemy with it, I can get away before they're able to punish me. So that makes it so that if the turtle gets like a random sidekick, you're still probably safe. Another thing that I started doing to make sure that strikes were safer is attack at a range. Like use the actual range of the move, because if you get a random throw, it takes longer for other enemies to catch up to where you are. They have to close the distance. So if you use the range of the attack and enemies are clustered together, you can get a random throw and recover from it fast enough that the enemies that are clustered, they don't have time to actually punish you because they have to get closer to you. Now that's not 100% foolproof. It also depends on what enemy, like which enemies are clustered and whether or not they have ranged attacks or fast attacks or anything like that. So you do have to kind of bear in mind that it's some enemies, it's going to be more effective against some enemies than others. But as a general rule, if you use the range of the strike and you whiff cancel it like that, like I just got 2 sidekicks in a row and I whiff canceled it, so this guy was nowhere in, he was not in position to be able to punish me for it. And that makes it so that execution is a bit less of a problem, because previously I would just use 2-button attacks like reverse shoulder and specials and stuff, because it is impossible to get a throw if you are using those moves. Okay, there's the timer bomb. So now I don't have to dodge it. I got the pizza power to do that for me. But yeah, if you use no strikes and you just use like any of your other moves, right? Any of the other moves, mostly your 2-button moves, you can avoid the problem of accidentally or randomly throwing. I keep saying accidentally. That it's not an accident. You can avoid the problem of randomly grabbing them and then getting punished by the enemies that are behind or clustered together, overlapping the enemy that you threw. But if you use the range and you whiff cancel, in case you don't hit anyone, then you can almost always recover in time. And the enemies that are clustered together, they won't be able to punish you. Now, one reason why that's good is because the execution of this game is kind of hard in terms of like consistently using 2-button moves. You have to press the 2 buttons on the same frame. And that's kind of difficult to do, especially if you're not using a good controller for it. So being able to have your strikes, which is a 1-button move, be more viable than they used to be, it makes it so that you reduce the chances of screwing up your execution. Because there's no way to screw up a 1-button move. You just tap the button and the turtle does their strike, and that's it. But if you use a 2-button move, there's always that risk of execution failure. And if, like, sometimes when I try to do a DP, I get that move instead, and that move, you know, you can get punished for it. Sometimes you want to do a reverse shoulder, but you accidentally do a special in the opposite direction, like that, and then you get punished with something else, right? And that's purely because you're adding execution demands that do not exist with just strikes. So ever since I worked out how to make strikes way safer, it's like, because previously I was like, oh, here's this attack that it's literally the basic attack of the game, and I can't use it because of this throw problem. And then I figured out a way around that to where I could use it again. And now, like, the game like opened up significantly once I was able to restore basic strikes as an option. I would really like it if this move had a better use that maybe I just didn't figure out yet. Like, this move really sucks. But if there's actually a way to use it that maybe I didn't consider, fuck. That would be really cool, because it would add more to the game. And it's just kind of cool, a move that you think is useless becoming useful. That move was never useful at any point. It was always bad. So if I'm able to figure out a way to actually put that to use, but I've experimented many times with it, but I just cannot find any scenario in which it's preferable to any other option. Any scenario where it would be useful, there's something better you could do. There's that whiff cancel. Cancel the recovery of the sidekick. Yeah, you just gotta use the range. It's not as big of a deal when you're dealing with the like empty hand rock soldiers. Both throws suck. No, they don't suck. I mean, so here's the thing. It's not that they're bad per se. It's that there is the potential that you can get punished by other enemies. Throws, they're a one-hit kill. So the enemy that is thrown is killed instantly, which is obviously a great thing. The throw itself is actually invincible, so you can't get punished for throwing, like the actual throw animation itself. You can't get punished for that. However, the recovery, like, you can get punished after the throw ends, and get these guys to throw that. And that makes it kind of tricky, because sometimes enemies will time their attacks to coincide with the recovery of your throw. And that kind of sucks, right? Now, throws are a little bit interesting because you actually can control when the move recovers, which is not an obvious option that you have. If you time your button press, like I did right there, you can actually cancel the recovery of the throw, so you can make it recover faster. That makes it less likely that you'll get punished. However, there are some circumstances where you don't want to do the throw recovery cancel, because it will also reduce the amount of iframes you have. So if you actually let the full animation rock, you get more iframes. However, it all depends on what enemies are near you and what attacks they're about to use and the timing of those attacks. So in some circumstances, you want to let the throw recovery animation, you want to let it be, you know, what it is. And other times you actually do want to cancel it so that you can get the hell out of there quicker. Okay, we'll do that. So you can drop his weapon. Oh. Yep. Swords go off screen. Anti-aired me, what the fuck? Bro, get the hell out of here. Bang, bang, yeah, and the throw cancel, like recovery cancel, like that takes practice to like get used to reacting to it, because throws are random, so you don't actually know when you're gonna get the throw. You just have to react to when it happens, and then time your button press to get the oh fuck, to get the cancel. Also, there are two different throw animations. It depends on the turtle you're using. So Leo and Donnie have the same throw animation, and Mikey and Raph have a different one. Theirs is actually a little bit slower, so Leo and Donnie have the better one. Also, you can't throw rock soldiers, so it's always safe to use your strikes, as long as you are mindful of which type of rock soldier you're fighting and what kind of weapon they have. Get down here. Okay, after these two guys. See how that rock soldier moved back? It's actually possible. Oh, I actually have half my health, so I don't need to get that pizza yet. So there was a rock soldier earlier that he moved back as I did reverse shoulder. It's actually possible for them to outrange you like that. I'm gonna get this now just to play it safe. I've already done sufficient damage to them. Yeah, this guy's counterattack, because of the timing of it, you can just kind of get him in that loop. Razar, you can't really get in that kind of loop because his attack, he has like a very high hitbox. Toka's hitbox, it doesn't go that high. Okay. Actually fucked up there, but managed to get away with it. Yeah, ever since, so these guys, those the guys with the tuning forks, back when I wasn't using strikes so much because of how risky they were, those guys were a massive pain in the ass. Oh man, this guy hit me with a big swing. But ever since I figured out, hey, if I use strikes in this way, I can kind of shut them down. Ah, that was a mistake. Okay, knock him down. Ding, 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 ding. You can anti-air them with the reverse shoulder. It is an option. That guy almost got me. Don't like when those guys do that preemptive, because it makes my setup much more risky. So far, the only real big damage I've taken is from that one big swing from the axe guy. That big swing does 3 bars of your health. It's a slow move, and they're vulnerable after it. But getting hit with it hurts. Oh! I did my DP to get out of that one. Yeah, that lunge kick they do, that also does 3 bars. Oh, fuck.
I feel seasick.
We traded. So I wound up killing him with that, but not a trade that I want to take. No, no. Knock him down, knock him down. Okay, the other guy... Oh, I thought he despawned because I kicked him over there, but... The knockdowns are really good. They make it so that you have some more breathing room to deal with enemies.
Pizza time.
Okay, grab that a little early. Okay, it's not this loot. Okay. All right. Kick him. Do that. Despawn him. That was supposed to be a DP. Didn't release the neutral in time. Nice. Very good timing on that slam. So you see, getting random slams and such, it's not always bad, right? It just depends on the timing of it and like the position of the enemies, right? That kind of thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing that you get it. That, however, is bad. There's random, like preemptive strikes that they do.
Oh, goody. Fresh turtles for lunch.
Pizza time.
Very nice, very nice.
Neon Night.
There are a few different strategies you can use against Leatherhead, but that one remains like the most reliable one. It's the fastest, and also Leatherhead has this, he's one of he's one of two bosses that does not take damage based on the strength of the attack you use. The damage he takes is just per hit. So just any hit you do to him does the same amount of damage. That's also true of Krang and Starbase. Now there are a couple other strats you can use against Leatherhead that are effective, but one of them actually does not work in this version of the game.
Pizza time.
It only works in the European version of the game, and I think the Asian version too, but definitely the European version, where you can just kind of do a DP and then use falling strikes, and like if you time it right, he's unable to anti-air it. And then when you land, you just do another DP and then falling strikes, land, DP, falling strikes, and if you time it right, he cannot punish it. But that does not work in this version of the game. And then there's also another strategy where you can actually bait his knife throw or his like his run, like the ground run he does. It's slower and it requires a lot more precision to execute properly. It's a little bit of a nuanced strat. So it's something that you're very unlikely to get unless you really practice it. However, the benefit to it, even though it's slower and precise, is that it takes all of the randomness out of the fight. Forgot I was on this part. I missed the pizzas because I thought I was one loop behind. That's fine. How many versions of the game exist? 3 versions. There's the North America, Asia, and Europe. Those are like the 3 main versions. There's also versions like 2-player and 4-player versions, like that kind of thing. So like, for example, if you play this game on Fightcade, you're gonna play this version of the game, which is the North American one, but it's the 2-player variant. That's not really a different version of the game itself. It's just the one that was used for 2-player cabinets, because not every arcade had the 4-player one. The 4-player one was more expensive and took up more space and all of that. The 2-player one was smaller and was cheaper for like the arcade operators. Ugh. That one was not supposed to hit. Fortunately, I'm at 3 bars instead of 2. And he's not able to do 3 bars in one hit. He's only able to do 2. So I'm still safe in terms of hits I can take. I'll just play this a little safe since I have the time for it.
You're going to pay. Starbase.
Krang is such a practitioner of the almighty foot. Yeah, they just have a shaky alliance. Krang is supposed to be supplying Shredder with all his technology, and in return he gets to like rule the universe or some shit like that. I don't know. It's like something stupid. Fun fact about Krang in this stage, like obviously Krang is the boss of this level, right? If you just avoid him the entire fight, eventually he just gives up and runs away. he does not actually stay. You can, if you just take forever. And I imagine the reason they did that is because when in this stage and only in this stage, when you get to the boss, the game disables the timer. So you actually cannot get the timer bomb while you're fighting Krang. And in order to prevent stalling in the arcade, like people just stalling forever, they just made it so that Krang does not stay there, rather than having the timer be active. That's my guess as to why they did it that way. Okay, let's just do that. Okay. Bang, 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 bang.
Pizza power!
Bro, get out of here. Have I ever gotten a 1cc in an actual arcade? No. But, Vane, you probably missed it when I said earlier. I actually found this game at an arcade near where I live. Unfortunately, it's not the original hardware. It is a MAME cabinet. But MAME emulates this game extremely well. So it's basically like playing it. Other than some minor graphical issues, it is basically like playing it on a real arcade. I do plan to go back and try and get the 1cc there, even though the controls are very difficult because they use American style controls that are not ideal. They have issues. Fuck. I need this blue guy to get the hell out of here. That was a mistake. Okay. Okay, not this one. That was kind of risky because there's a blue guy off screen. Alright, it's going to be this next loop, so I'm going to wait this out. Fucked up. Fucked up the DP. So much for waiting it out. Fucked up another DP. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks getting this far deathless, and then you fuck up one DP, and that's it, you die. That was a DP. What sucks about taking all that damage, even though there's a pizza coming up, is... One, I could get blocked by the ice before getting that pizza. That could happen. Two, ideally you want to delay getting the pizza at this section. You don't want to grab it right away, but I'm going to have to.
Pizza time!
Okay, get rid of these guys first. Because I died though, the rank did drop, so there were fewer enemies in that spot. Bro, this part took me a long time to figure out. When I was first trying to learn to 1cc in this game, like this part right here, it was like devastating. Bro, shut up.
You shellheads are dead.
Alright, if I play this well, I'll still get a 1cc, but kind of sucks. I was on pace for the Deathless. Like, I was actually performing well, consistently enough to get the Deathless. This fight is one of those that changes quite significantly in co-op. Like, it's not immediately obvious, but bosses don't behave the same way in co-op. Like, if you have at least a second turtle, their movement and such, it kind of changes. And in this fight, it actually matters quite a lot. The other fight where that matters significantly is Leatherhead. Leatherhead becomes significantly more of a pest in co-op. The trick is that both players have to be on the same side of Leatherhead so that he doesn't bounce between two different sides. Because bosses tend to change targets randomly. Like they'll be focused on one turtle and then they'll randomly change targets to another one. And when Leatherhead does that, he winds up doing, you know, he has his back and forth hopping that he does. It becomes significantly more erratic and hard to predict. I shouldn't challenge that. You can technically punish him when he does that with the falling strike if you time it right, but if you don't time it right, it's an instant kill, so probably shouldn't do that. Also, because of the way health works in this game, and that you only really damage bosses when they get knocked back, which is true for the turtles too. Turtles also, they only take damage when they get knocked down. So because of that, if the attack that you're gonna use, if your strongest attack cannot knock Shredder back, it's completely pointless to punish his instant kill with a strong move. It's not worth it. If he was about to get knocked back, then yeah, you can do it. But if you mess it up, you actually might accidentally touch his instant kill projectiles and just die for it. So rather than do that, I just wait for him to fall a little bit and then I do one strike to knock him away. Because if he wasn't about to get knocked back and take damage, no attack I do in that scenario would actually damage him. So the best thing to do is just take the safest route and just hit him with a regular strike, just to make sure he gets pushed back some. Thanks for the G's. You could have sworn he turned to Super Shredder. No, not in arcade. That's in the Super Nintendo version. He's just Shredder in the arcade version. That's it, just Shredder. Okay, I want to see if I can... Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, I have time. So I want to make sure... I have to change the... the video size, so I might have to adjust this in OBS. But let's go ahead and exit that, and I'm gonna hop on Fightcade. I'm gonna hop on Fightcade, and what I'm gonna do is I am going to play a replay. Hold on. Let's see, replays. It's not an incompatible browser. Fuck off. Okay. Pros and cons of SNES version. Okay, I can go through that real quick. So, do this. Yeah, I can go through that real quick before I do what I'm about to do. So, Super Nintendo version is, like I like to say, it's not the same game. It's a completely different game with the Turtles in Time coat of paint on it. It's not a bad game. It's a fun game. Like I'm not here to shit on the game, but it is not Turtles in Time. It is a different game. It just has the Turtles in Time coat of paint on it. They changed everything about the game. Everything is different. There is not a single part of the game that was not touched, that was not changed in some way. Frames of animation are gone. Voice clips are gone. Overall audio quality is reduced between not only voice clips but also the music and sound effects and all of that stuff is lower quality, more compressed. The Turtles' attacks are different. They have some of the same animations, but their attacks are completely different. Some attacks were outright removed entirely. Some attacks were changed to have different functionality. So, like, for example, that arc kick, the one that goes in like an up and down parabola motion that I showed it earlier, I said that it sucks. That move is actually good in the Super Nintendo version because of the properties that it has. It has better properties. Super Nintendo version has the ability to do manual dashing. It also has the option to turn off automatic back attack, so that you can only get manual back attack. It has Alley Cat Blues deserves to be heard only in the highest quality. You're not the first person to tell me that. Alley Cat Blues is a fan favorite. Like, as the song is, it is top tier. It is by far one of the best tracks in the game. I would agree with you there. Obviously, Big Apple's song sounds 1,000 times better in the arcade. It's so much better. Yeah, as far as differences, so speaking of Alley Cat Blues, the boxing robots are replaced with Roadkill Rodneys, which is more in line with the cartoon anyway. The enemies are completely different. The enemies in the Super Nintendo version are very passive. They don't do a whole lot. They just kind of dance in front of you and wait for you to hit them. Sometimes they swing, right? But they actually are not very aggressive in that game. They do more waiting around than they do attacking. Obviously, in the arcade version, they are out for blood. They come at you in swarms. They are very aggressive. They attack you very frequently. Let's see what else. Obviously, everybody knows the obvious addition of the Technodrome. Besides Technodrome, the final level against Shredder, right? They have the other Technodrome level after Sewer Surfing. There's the addition of Rat King. Stages 3 and 7 are not full levels like they are in the arcade version. They are bonus levels where you basically don't have to do anything but sit in a corner and avoid enemies occasionally, because there are very few of them, and it's really just a bonus level for points. You can extend your lives with points in that game. You can't do that in arcade. You get 2 lives, and that's all you get to actually get a 1cc. There's other stuff, but those are like the big ones. Those are like the main big ones. Yellowfoot are still assholes, even. Yeah, well, I mean, they tend to be. They tend to be. Um, and there's other stuff like stage 5 boss is not Token Razar. Token Razar got moved to the first Technodrome level, and then they got replaced on the ship with Bebop and Rocksteady. Um, Stuff like that. Cement Man was replaced with Slash, stuff like that. But yeah, the game itself plays completely differently. It's not the same game at all. It's a fun game, but I just the arcade version is like way more fun in my opinion. Also, specials hurt you. Like when you use specials, they damage the turtles. so so you have a limited use of them. Um, there you have a limited use of them, so you can't just kind of use them when the situation calls for it. Throws and slams can be done manually in the Super Nintendo version. You can do them manually, and as you might imagine, they break the game. Throws and slams break the game. They basically trivialize the game. Any modicum of difficulty the game had just kind of goes out the window if you just use throws and slams repeatedly on the enemies. No need for the combo system that they introduced. Just throw and slam everything. Except for bosses, obviously can't do that with bosses, but for regular enemies, yeah, just throw and slam them. Just throw and slam them, and you win. That's the win condition in that game. And obviously no 4-player. All right. Anyway, I am going to attempt to show a replay if I can. We'll do this one. Open link. And oh shit, why is it doing that? All right, let me see if I can get this. Oh, hold on. Close that. Why did it do that? Bad. Why bad? Oh no, is the replay not working? Wait, hold on. What's going on? Hold on, let me test this. EEPROM initial. So, Fightcade does this stupid thing where it has to. Let me make sure the audio is. Yeah. Why is the replay not working? When I test the emulator, it works. And I tested this. I viewed the replays before, so I know they work. Oh, bro, the ROM RAM check is failing when I open the replay. Maybe it's only that one replay. Let's try this other one. I checked the replays before and I was able to view them. They were working. Bro. Bro. That fucking sucks. I wanted to show you guys a replay of co-op, of like how the game looks in co-op. And how the game actually gets harder in co-op. But it's not fucking working. That's crazy. It keeps doing it keeps failing the check at the start. But I know for a fact that the replay saved correctly because I checked it afterward. And I even tested it with OBS to make sure I could capture it, and now it's failing the fucking check when I try it. That is doo-doo. That fucking sucks. I wanted to show you guys this replay. I mean, I have a few replays here with co-op. None of them are working. If I full screen this? Wait a minute, or what if I do... No. Let's do this. I just want to see this video. Window size. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to try and troubleshoot this another time. It's not working now, man. That's fucking garbage. That sucks. Well, I can always just play more on MAME. I'll play more instead. I wanted to show that replay, but it's not gonna work out. Okay, let's do Raph again. I think like Raph and Leo are like my go-tos now. Like I enjoy Leo the most these days, and ever since I made those discoveries with Raph, he's just significantly more fun to me now than he used to be. He used to be like, I used to think he sucked and was not having fun. But Raph is definitely the strike master. Like, he is definitely the most consistent and has like the biggest, like other than Don's range, like Donnie has the range, right? Which is great. And also Donnie has this weird quirk where if you mash his strikes, sometimes he gets away with it, whereas other turtles can't really get away with it. So like, let's see if I can show an example here. If I'm like mashing like this, the timing of the strikes doesn't really work out to hit enemies. And it's actually possible to get punished for mashing the buttons like this, because enemies will like, they'll recover. Notice how I do 2 in a row and the second one whiffs? Because the enemy's iframes haven't ended yet from the first hit. That's why you gotta time, you know, your strikes. But Donnie's strikes are slow enough, like his startup animation for them is slow enough that sometimes you can mash and you can hit them more than once and he gets away with it. So it's actually an example of Don's animations being slower, working to his benefit. Where I know most people would see that and be like, oh, this is just a straight downgrade from the other turtles in terms of the speed. Like, he's slower because he has more range. So they think, oh, this is the disadvantage to having more range. But it actually winds up being an advantage in disguise. Of course, there are still advantages to having faster strike speed, which Raph has. The obvious one being that, you know, when you do it, you're less likely to get interrupted for it. I need you to come down a little bit more. Not that far down, dude. When I said down, I didn't mean below the screen. Bro, he keeps... Okay, that's better. He keeps going, like, in these really obnoxious heights where I can't hit him effectively. Raph can't hit him there because his range is crap. Wow, that was like really bad luck with his movement.
Alley Cat Blues.
Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam.
Cool off, sucker. Yeah.
Sure. That always feels very satisfying when you get like 6 or 7 guys with Raph special like that all at once. And you hear like how meaty the sound effect is.
Pizza time.
Bam, 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 bam. Oh. He didn't get caught with it. You can hit him from behind like that. Boom. Bam, bam. Whoops. Mistake. Yeah, that sucks.
Pizza power!
I actually wanted to grab the pizza power at that moment when they grabbed me.
Pizza time.
See what I did right there? I would not have been able to do that in the arcade because of the problem with the snapback of the stick. So when I got knocked, I got knocked in the air, then I landed, changed direction, and then instantly released to neutral and did a DP. I wanted to change direction so that I faced the enemy, so that I can hit him with my DP. In the arcade, I would have gotten a snapback issue with the stick that would have prevented me from doing that.
Sewer surface.
Got a buffer I didn't want. Yeah, they're putting me in a really shitty position, so I just I'm like forced to keep taking damage there. Bam, bam,
Pizza
bam.
time.
Okay, don't let them do it again now that I've taken the pizza. Bam, bam. Something that really helps in this game is understanding your Z-axis range for your attacks. Especially helpful in this stage, given that strikes are way safer in this stage because it's actually impossible to grab or slam enemies on auto-scrollers. Which means strikes are, there's no randomness. Well, there's randomness to which strike animation you get, and they all have their own hitboxes. But whether or not you get a strike as opposed to a throw or a slam is not an issue for the auto-scrollers. So if you understand your Z-axis range on the strikes, like for some reason, you have more, like, in relation to the sprite of the turtle, you have more range if you are below them on the Z-axis compared to being above them. And of course you can use the shadows. You can use the shadows of the turtles and the enemies to know where you are in relation to them. Okay, lots of flashing. Epilepsy warning. Lots of flashing.
My patience is wearing thin. I'm banishing you to a time warp from which you will never return.
Yeah,
Prehistoric.
most enemies don't have the same Z-axis range that the turtles do. Which means that if you stay like this, you see how I'm like below them on the Z-axis, so I'm not quite on their horizontal plane. That makes it so that you can hit them from a position where they can't hit you. Now, some enemies are the exception to this. Like, for example, the sword guys. The sword guys actually have more Z-axis range than the turtles do. But they don't have more horizontal range than the turtles. So you can use horizontal range to your advantage. And you can manipulate them in other ways as well. But like these guys, like... So that's another thing that makes strikes a little bit safer. If you know how to just put all of these things together, combine strikes, combine whiff cancel, combine using the range of the strike, so that if you get a random throw or slam, other enemies are out of position. They're not able to punish you for it. So that's, you know, if you combine all of these factors, it makes it so that the basic attack, the strike, is actually one of the more nuanced parts of the game. And it's ironically one of the more advanced things to do in the game, even though it's technically like your basic attack. See, like from that position, if I had grabbed one of those enemies, I would have been able to make myself safe in time, because I was on a Z-axis position that they would not have been able to hit me from there. They would have needed to use time to reposition in order to be able to hit me. That sucks. That sucks because even if I didn't get hit with anything while grabbed, now I'll take instant damage on the next hit I take. Getting grabbed makes it so that you just take instant damage on your next hit. And whatever damage the next hit does to you, you'll take the full damage from it. So that's getting grabbed is literally like the worst thing that could possibly happen to you, other than Shredder's insta kill. I can mitigate that, however, if I want to sacrifice a little health. I can mitigate that by getting hit with one of the fast attacks of the of that. Oh fuck, and then he hit me into the stalactite. Fuck me, man. That backfired because of the stalactite. God damn it, dude. But yeah, so if you get hit by one of the fast attacks of the axe guys, that move only does 1 bar to you. So if you get grabbed by a purple, your next hit that you take is going to do instant damage to you no matter what. So you might as well get hit with the axe guy's like quick swing, so that you only take 1 damage, and then that resets your health back. It's a little bit complicated because of the way the health system works in this game. But basically you don't take damage until you get knocked down. And it usually takes 3 regular hits for enemies to knock you down. Unless they hit you with like a big move or something. Like those bombs would be a big move. Okay. I didn't cancel it, but I was still in a good position, so the guy wasn't able to punish me.
Pizza power!
DP. Yeah, see, man, you miss 1 DP and you get punished big time. Yep. See, canceled the throw recovery there and was able to time it and then time my DP immediately after that. And if I didn't do that, the Rock Soldier definitely would have punished me for getting a throw. Yeah, so for that section, still didn't. For that section, you because Raph doesn't have the random sidekick, he can use strikes a little bit safer against those Rock Soldiers. Remember what I said about the Z-axis range. You have a little bit more Z-axis range on the bottom compared to the top. So you position yourself like that against them, it's safer to deal with them. Of course, stitching all of these things together throughout a full run and not making any mistakes is kind of tricky. But definitely doable.
Skull and cross.
Fucking guys, dude. Bro, get the fuck out of here. Sadly, Raph's special recovery is really bad. Yeah, if I position myself at this diagonal position here and use the max range, the sword guy cannot reach me. Bro. Bang, bang. Wow. Kind of fucked me up there, because now I gotta deal with this crap. Alright, I'll use the pizza power. Gotta dodge these guys.
Pizza power!
Okay, so that actually was not the loop. I got here a little early. I'm actually here much earlier than I normally am, which is kind of surprising. Alright, get over here. Their fire arrows also do instant damage to you. Okay, it's this one. That's the wrong kit. Okay.
Pizza time.
Okay.
Bury my shell.
What? Hello? How did I get hit there? That sucks.
I feel seasick.
You,
He did a preemptive strike. That was the last wave that I needed to get rid of before I had a clean shot at the pizza. What time is it? Yeah, it's about time. I don't have time for another attempt. I had time to close out this attempt, but I don't actually have time for another attempt. I'm really sad that I didn't get to show the replay. I really, really wanted to show the replay. And just kind of like talk about my thoughts on like not just like how my partner was playing, but also just like general things about like playing the game in co-op. I thought it was gonna be interesting, but yeah, unfortunately, Fightcade just wasn't cooperating for some reason. Last time I tried to load the replay just to test it, it was working, and now all of a sudden it's not working, and I don't know what the deal is with that. If I figure it out, then I'll probably try and show the replay some other time. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna wind down for the rest of the evening before I go to sleep, and then have work tomorrow. So, you guys take it easy, man. Thanks for stopping by, and yeah, I'm gonna try and see if I can. I gotta contact the arcade and see if they'll let me take my tripod in. If they do, then I'll try to get a video of a 1cc in arcade, but it might take some time because I can only go on my days off, and only if I don't have an event, and only if I'm not doing overtime, and also there's no guarantee I'll get a 1cc because of the arcade controls. So, but I'll see what I can do, and if I actually do manage to get the 1cc on an arcade cab, then I'll definitely put a video of that if the arcade lets me record it. So that's it. You guys have a good rest of your evening. Peace.